afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us here today, this beautiful day. My name is Jennifer Moore. I'm the Interim Director of Media and Community Relations. Today, we gather to celebrate the legacy of a long-time public servant, Mr. Curtis R. Milteer, Sr. Today, we come together to dedicate the former Whaleyville Recreation Center to honor this incredible man. A perfect tribute, as this building sits in the heart of the borough that he served for 40 years. Before we get started, just a couple quick reminders to please silence your cell phones. And I'd also like to recognize a few dignitaries present today. We have Suffolk Mayor Michael Duman, Vice Mayor Leroy Bennett, This is a very long list, letting y'all know. Councilman Roger Fawcett, Councilman Donald Goldberg, Councilman Tim Johnson, Councilman Lou Ward, Councilman Leotis Williams. We also have Delegate Emily Brewer, Congressman Bobby Scott, and a representative from Congressman McEachin's office. We've got Ms. Sylvia Copeland. And of course, we have the family members of Curtis R. Milteer Sr. Today we have his adult children with us. We have Anthony, Albert, and Ann. Thanks for coming. So again, thank you all for being here today. And without any further ado, I'd like to welcome our mayor, Suffolk Mayor Michael D. Duman, to the podium.
Thank you, Jennifer, and good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed an honor to be here this afternoon to dedicate the Curtis R. Milteer Recreation Center. On behalf of City Council, welcome, and thank you for being here today to celebrate this momentous occasion. It is a pleasure to have members of the Milteer family in attendance. Unfortunately, Mrs. Milteer is unable to attend, but there is no doubt that her strength, encouragement, and counsel allow Curtis to work so tirelessly and effectively for this community. Also with us are Curtis's children, Mr. Anthony Milteer, Mr. Albert Milteer, and Miss Ann Whitfield. Thank you for sharing your father for those many years. Mr. Milteer served our city and constituents admirably and with distinction for over 40 years. I had the good fortune to serve with him and beside him for the last decade of his illustrious career. Curtis Milteer was known for his unparalleled dedication to and advocacy for his constituents. That representation served him well and directly attributed to him being elected to an unprecedented 10 consecutive terms. Curtis recognized the need for recreational and enrichment opportunities in the Whaleyville community and lobbied to ensure that the former Robertson Elementary School would be repurposed for that need. This facility also has a very special meaning to me and my family. My sister Rhonda Jones, who passed away in August of 2018, spent 33 years with Suffolk Public Schools. The final 8 years were as the last principal of Robertson Elementary. The community spirit of that school will also continue to live within those walls. Dedicating this facility to Curtis was absolutely the easiest decision this council has ever made. There could not be a more appropriate way to memorialize the dedicated service, vision, and dream of a true public servant. I might note that, as Curtis used to say, it was accomplished with, and I quote, you can fill in the blanks, with deliberate speed. Following the completion of the renovation, Curtis remarked that this recreation center was going to be a success because, and I quote again, we are going to make it a success. Curtis Milteer's vision was clear, and he lived to see that vision become a reality, and for that, we are all grateful. At this time, I'd like to request that Delegate Emily Brewer come forward to provide remarks and a special presentation to the family.
So all of my life I grew up in Suffolk, and every single year since my birth, Curtis Milteer has been on council, and there is a distinct reason for that. So many people hate that the P word, the politician word. I don't like it very much either, but he wasn't. He was a public servant. I remember sitting in his dining room. I remember him coming to my business, us having conversations about what mattered to him, because you know the secret sauce to being elected and staying elected for 10 terms is actually doing the work of the people, and that's what he did. So we have a resolution to commemorate his service that we'd like to present to the family for his dedication to this community, to Whaleyville. We'd ask if you'd go ahead and come up. And I'm going to read this.
Put it up here.
You want to hold that with me?
Yep, I got you. I'll hold it. You read. There you go.
Whereas Curtis R. Milteer Sr., a trailblazing public servant and community leader in Suffolk, died on January 31st, 2022. Whereas Curtis grew up in Suffolk and graduated from East Suffolk High School in 1950, continued his education at P.D. Pruden Vocational Technical Center, Tower Community College, and Norfolk State University, then earned a doctorate from Norfolk Theological Seminary College. And whereas Curtis served his country during the Korean War, earning a Purple Heart, then worked at the Naval Air Rework Facility in North Carolina. Whereas Curtis became the first African-American vice mayor in Suffolk history in 1992. He subsequently served as mayor from 2000 to 2002, again as vice mayor from 2006 to 2010, and whereas Curtis enhanced the quality of life in Suffolk throughout his work with the Suffolk Planning Commission, the Transportation District Commission of Hampton Roads, and many other local and regional bodies. Resolved that the House of Delegates hereby note with great sadness the loss of Curtis R. Milteer Sr., a pillar of the Suffolk community, and be it further resolved that we send our sincere expression of the House of Delegates' respect for his memory. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And that's for you.
Thank you, Mayor Duman, Delegate Brewer, for those touching that touching presentation. I now call the Vice Mayor, Leroy Bennett, to the podium for remarks, please.
Good afternoon, and it's a great day to be in Whaleyville. I would just like to say on behalf of my family to your family, it's great to be here today to honor such a great man, Curtis R. Milteer Jr. I want to say that I served with him for 24 years, but I knew him way before that with the Moses Riddick time when he was really learning how to get out and campaign and make things change in Suffolk. And he was a great politician. He kept everything under his hat that he could tell you about what's taking place, what has happened, and what he thinks is going to happen. But I served with him when he was vice mayor. I served with him when he was mayor. I served with him when he was a council person. But he was a person that never changed. He might not agree with you, but he didn't get angry with you because he disagreed. He believed in working with you to make sure that whatever needs to be done, we work together. That's how we got things accomplished. There are so many things that I can say that he really accomplished in Suffolk during his 40 years of service. And I'm going to start in Saratoga, then I'm going to work on around. Because when he started in Saratoga, he said, well, we need to close up these ditches over here. So everybody wanted to close the ditches up. So Curtis said, well, what we need to do, we got with staff and council members, is what we need to do is not piecemeal this, do one neighborhood at a time. And look what has happened. Saratoga has been done, South Suffolk has been done, Orlando has been done, now East Washington Street is being done. But that was the process that Councilman Milteer wanted to see work, wherein it was not piecemeal, wherein each borough was getting a street done at one time. They said you're not getting anything accomplished. Then when they closed up Robinson School, you know what he wanted to do down here. Well, I forgot about it. he had to have curbs and gutters in Whaleville as well. So y'all do have curbs and gutters because he made sure that that happened. Then he said the school has something happen here at the school as well. So when he decided that, we agreed that the school needed to be renovated and made a rec center. They said, well, there's nobody in Whaleville that much. Curtis said, well, people from North Carolina come through too. They got to find somewhere to go. So that is really accommodating a whole lot of people, not just Suffolk, but people in the surrounding area. So you have to give him a lot of credit for what he really did. And then when time passed, God bless him, and he passed on. It was laid on my heart to bring it before council and thank council members for their support to name this school after Curtis R. Milteer Sr. And I think it's an honor. He worked hard to make sure that our citizens in this city got recognized, and now I think it's time to recognize him. So again, to the family, we thank you for the years of service of Councilman Curtis R. Milteer, Mayor Milteer, Vice Mayor Milteer. Now we have something we can be very proud of and look back in history and see what he has done for the citizens of Suffolk. And again, congratulations to the family for sharing those many years with us. And we love you, but God love you best. Take care, and God bless you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. It's my pleasure to welcome Congressman Bobby Scott to the podium.
Thank you, Ms. Moore, Mr. Mayor, members of council, Delegate Brewer, and other elected officials, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here, and thank you for the opportunity to join all of you and the family as we honor the service and legacy of former City Councilman Curtis Robert Milteer Sr. here at the Recreation Center that will now carry his name. Curtis Milteer dedicated his life to his country and community. He grew up here and was a graduate of East Suffolk High School. He was a Korean War veteran who was honored with the Purple Heart before returning home, where he continued his service. Suffolk was his home, and he was dedicated to its growth and vitality. As a dedicated public servant representing Whaley'sville Borough on Suffolk City Council, he dedicated 40 years to the citizens of Whaleyville, Suffolk, and Hampton Roads. Councilman Milteer was elected to City Council in 1980, elevated to Vice Mayor in 1992, which gave him the distinction of becoming Suffolk's first African-American Vice Mayor. And during his tenure, he served as Vice Mayor twice, was appointed Mayor in 2000, and the development of rural communities was a key focus of his service, and education was always at the forefront of his initiatives. Ensuring that our children have a safe community that nurtures their daily needs was a value that we both shared. Now, crime is always a big issue in political campaigns, but Curtis Milteer knew that if children have a safe and nurturing environment like a local recreation center, they're less likely to get in trouble to begin with. And among his many accomplishments, he helped turn the former Robertson Elementary School into the Whaleyville Recreation Center. He collaborated with council members and the city manager to make sure the project's completion. And I think the mayor and council and vice mayor have intimated that he was somewhat relentless to make sure that that happened. And so renaming the center was a perfect way to honor him and his life of service to his community. Curtis R. Milteer Recreation Center will provide a safe space to exercise, fellowship, collaborate as a community, and children will be able to meet and play with one another and learn concepts that are difficult to teach outside of a recreation center, like teamwork, sportsmanship, and fair play. This dedication is a testimony to his lifelong devotion to service to Suffolk, and his legacy will be felt within the walls of this building for many years to come. I was grateful to know him and witness how his work positively impacted the lives of citizens of Suffolk and Greater Hampton Roads, and I want to thank the citizens of Suffolk for allowing me to join you today as we celebrate Curtis Milteer's remarkable life and legacy. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. I now would like to ask Anthony Milteer, the son of Curtis R. Milteer Sr., to join us at the podium for remarks.
How you doing? Make this short and sweet. Everybody know my father and what he was about. So, but at the same time, I would like to thank the city of Suffolk and the Wheelerville Borough for giving him 40 years of public service. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. And now we present the plaque that will be proudly displayed here at the Curtis R. Milteer Senior Recreation Center. I would like to call the Milteer family up to join us to unveil the plaque. And as well as our speakers today, please join us as well to be present. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to read the plaque aloud for those who are in the back and may not be able to see. The plaque reads, on March 2nd, 2022, the City Council of the City of Suffolk, Virginia, renamed this recreation center in honor of Curtis R. Milteer Sr. and his lifelong dedication to the public service to the City of Suffolk. Mr. Milteer, a Korean War veteran and Purple Heart recipient, served 40 consecutive years on the Suffolk City Council. Mr. Milteer represented the Whaleyville Borough and was the City of Suffolk's first African-American vice mayor. As a city council member, one of his most defining initiatives was championing the conversion of the former Robertson Elementary School into the Whaleyville Recreation Center. Mr. Milteer was an advocate for growth and vitality of the City of Suffolk with a focus on the rural communities. Council member, 1980 to 2020, mayor, 2000 to 2002, vice mayor, 1992 to 1996, 2006 to 2010, with deliberate speed. All right, well, this concludes the program portion of our event today. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for joining to celebrate the legacy of Mr. Milteer. Please join us in the auditorium inside for refreshments and fellowship.